Today we're going to repack the bearings on the Imperial Outdoors X195. I've already removed the wheel and tire just to save time, but here in a minute we're going to pop that dust cap off and take the rotor and caliper off and clean the bearings and check them out and put them back on. All right, getting ready to pop the dust cover off. Going to use a small flat blade screwdriver and just kind of ease it off there and just try to not ding it up. And we're going to pull the cotter pin out. You'll want to replace the cotter pin once you do this job. The castle nut should be hand tight, just a little bit, maybe a little bit tighter. Took that off and took the crush washer off and the outer bearing. And now we're getting ready to pull the caliper off. This one was a little tight. They used Loctite, which is okay. Just takes a little bit of effort to get it off by hand. If you had an impact, it would probably come off a lot easier, but less chance of damaging anything. So that took a couple minutes, and was able to get that loose and taken off, and used a block of wood to put underneath of it to support it so that it wasn't hanging off the brake line and damaging that. And we took the rotor off and the hub, and now we're cleaning the spline up and getting all the debris off the outside where it meets up against the caliper bracket. And just checking it for any burrs or any damage, and everything checked out good. Be careful with the parts cleaner or the brake cleaner, getting it on paint. It will eat the paint off, but it is a really good degreaser. Just making sure everything's good, cleaning the castle nut and the crush washer, getting the grease off of that, and the outer bearing. Just spraying the brake cleaner up in there. If you had some air, you could blow it up in there, and that helped blow some of it out once the degreaser hits it. I just didn't have an air compressor here. You can pretty much do this job with minimal tools. Just have a lot of paper towels. And we're getting that all clean and checking it for any burrs, loose bearings or rollers, and making sure there's no burn marks or any pitting on those. And that was the dust cap. It's got the Cruise Master emblem on it, so that's the only reason I'm trying to salvage it. And we're getting ready to pull the seal out with the seal puller. It was in there pretty good, and not working on a bench or anything. It was a little bit hard to get out, but it came out. And we'll replace that. You don't want to reuse that. And we got the inner bearing out, and now we're just getting all the grease off the two races, inner and outer race. Cleaning the hub up really good, getting any debris and dirt and grease off of that. And checking the races for any burrs or any burn marks or any imperfections. When you do this project, you always want to make sure that whatever hub you're using, if you're reusing the bearings and the race, you want to use the same ones. You don't want to put another bearing in another hub that has a different race in it that's not new, because it's already worn and fitting that race like it's supposed to. Could cause problems if you mixed them up on a different wheel. And we're just still cleaning out the rear bearing. It's a lot larger than the outer bearing. And they just get greasy. You just want to dry them out real good, and just take your time. The job should take about 30 minutes if you have all your stuff, ready to go. And we're just wiping everything off, making sure it's clean. And I use a bearing packer. It's a lot easier to get the grease in the bearing versus trying to do it off the palm of your hand. It takes a little time, a little bit of effort. This here is, 20-30 seconds and you've got it packed. And we're just making sure we're greasing up the race and making sure there's plenty of grease on the bearing. Like I say, this job takes a lot of paper towels. I'll probably use more than that are needed. That's the new seal. So we're just going to tap that on. A lot of people will use a block of wood, or you can take a hammer and kind of go around the edge and just take your time, not dent it up. I've got a race sealer, so that's what I'm using. It's bigger than or it fits on the seal pretty good, so it pounds it in pretty level and flush and doesn't damage anything. And you just want to put that in there just a little bit flush, a little bit, maybe a little further in than the hub itself. But it works pretty good. It's pretty quick. And now we're going to probably lube up the spline a little bit. Well, we're actually packing the outer bearing. And put a little grease on that race there. Like I say, we're going to lube up the spline. You don't have to gunk it all up on there. Just get enough on there to, keep it lubed. And we're going to take the hub and put it over the spline there, and just be careful not to mess up the seal. Making sure we got plenty of grease in there, putting the outer bearing in, and we're getting ready to put the crush washer back on, and the castle nut. And that's a little tricky, to get your load on there, but it's not too bad. You kind of tighten down on it, and once you don't have any play in the hub, in and out, back off about a half a turn, maybe a quarter turn, whatever it needs. And then you'll apply a new cotter pin in the holes that are in the spline and the notches that are in the castle nut. And you'll clip one in and bend the other one over onto the spline. And just kind of get it clean, make sure everything's working good, and you'll go ahead and get ready to put your dust cap back on here in a second. They make a tool to put that on, but I didn't have one with me, so I just used a punch. Took my time and went around the perimeter and just made sure it seated good, because you don't want any water to penetrate inside there. That'll cause premature failure. And these trailers are made to be off-road, so you will be going through water and creeks and dirt and whatever else there is out there. And we're getting ready to clean the rotor. We're going to clean the rotor here in a minute, make sure we get all the grease and oil off of that, get any dirt, any debris. Clean it up while you have it off. When we took that off, it had a little bit of surface rust on it just from sitting, but it wipes right off. A little brake cleaner taking care of it. I won't say like new, but it's clean. And we'll put that back on the hub, and I'll just stick a lug nut on there to kind of hold it tight while I'm putting the caliper back on. And when we do that, we'll check the brake pads, make sure they're in good shape. And they seem to be okay, and I'm putting that back on. And there's 2 bolts that will hold that on, and we'll put some Loctite on those bolts and bolt it back in. The torque spec on that, I think 55 pounds on this one. I guess they vary on every trailer or brake caliber. Sometimes you got to play with it, get it on there. It's you got 2 holes to line up, and but it goes on pretty good. And just tighten it up. Just getting it torqued on there, and we'll pull that lug nut back off and jack the trailer up. I lowered it down a little bit. I didn't get it quite the right height when I jacked it up, but so it'll take a couple times to get it right and get the tire back on. Or maybe the tire expanded while it was sitting out there in the sun. Who knows? Jacked it up by another 1/2 inch there, and it fits right on. And we'll get all the lug nuts on. We'll get them snugged up tight, and then we'll lower the jack down and get the wheel back on the ground, and we'll torque the lug nuts. I think 120 foot-pounds what they require. And you want to make sure you do that. I have lost a wheel and tire. That one to the right of that one, actually, when I bought the camper new, I guess the dealer assumed that the manufacturer torqued it down because they brought it in on a trailer, and I assumed that the dealer torqued it down, but I got about 250 miles away from the dealership and on the freeway, and had a car come up on me and was waving me down and told me that I had lost a wheel.